Sure. Well, I work for Capital Group Private Client Services, which is a investment management firm that works with individuals, families, trusts, foundations, and nonprofits. And the focus of our work is to provide solutions for those clients who are concerned about the markets, who have experienced the volatility of the past 5 years, who have seen some of this instability in working with particular firms and their personnel, or have looked at an opportunity in their life through a liquidity event and they want to grow but also protect their assets. And we do that by being a very, very focused firm that does only investment management and uses proprietary global research. So we pretty much have people around the world that are looking at individual companies and looking for the best opportunities for our clients. Going back to that theme again, it's unquestioned integrity, an other focus. So if you're in service of your clients, it's not about you; it's about your client. But an other focus too that integrates well into a team concept. So, I've heard other people say. Then it's the most difficult thing if you're interviewing, is just because you want to put yourself forward, but if you put yourself too forward in a very egocentric or egotistical way, you've crossed that line between having a strong, you're a secure individual to being a little too much about you. So there's a little bit of that. Still have to pinch myself that I'm here because you gotta be smart. You gotta be on your toes. You have to kind of unquestioned talent. I think a person who's in a service business doesn't have a typical day because it's about whatever your clients need. I've been blessed to have built a good group of clients that I work with and who have a great group of advisors that I also work with. So if you're working in the investment management world, you have great clients who are continually having questions, and the key to being a good advisor is to go from being an investment advisor, a legal advisor, a tax advisor, to becoming a trusted advisor. So it's not about what the market's doing today. It's more about, well, I'm looking at this goal that I had before, and I think it's changing because my relationship with that person, the situation, that plan is changing, and I think I need to just talk to you about it because it's involving more than just investments. And to be part of a team of folks in service to this individual, this family, this institution. So that makes it for a very, very dynamic environment. I can get calls, it's continual communication with all of them based on their needs. And making sure that you're communicating with them on a regular basis to make sure they know you're thinking of them. So there's just, and it's also depending on, what's happening in the market that day. That dictates that. I believe that we live in a very dynamic environment where things happen in a much more fast-paced, transparent way. And that's going to be a challenge for the investment management industry, because if it's moment by moment and fast-paced, then does one's investments have to follow that? And part of this company's strength is being a long-term investor, and that long-term relationships, whether it be our relationship with our client, or our relationship with a company that we're looking at, or a municipality that is putting out a bond, or an economist who has a perspective, those don't happen very fast sometimes. That's the rub, because that whole change with technology, with fast pace, with transparency, is the thing that's going to be driving the change that will happen. But at the end of the day, I believe people need to sit down with a person they trust, across their kitchen table, across the boardroom, across, thousands of miles by Skype, whatever, and have a trusted advisor. And have somebody who understands them and can match them up with the most appropriate style, vehicle, that will be fast, that will be transparent, but it will be based on a relationship. So that's kind of what will ever be changing and what will never change. So that would be the basis of it. Well, I've had a varied career. So I didn't plan to end up in financial services. I studied for the Catholic priesthood, so I did some of that. I worked for United Way, so I worked in the nonprofit world for a few years. Took a little bit of a turn and flew for the Navy for a little while, so I was in the military. Probably the one experience that I had that started looking at, how do you manage resources, was when I left the Navy. I went to the California Community Foundation, which is a foundation that manages charitable assets for individuals, families, trusts, and that's where I started working with both individuals and their advisors about how to best match up what goals and objectives reflect in how something is being managed, mostly on the charitable side. So, and I helped to grow, manage and grow the California Community Foundation, where I was for 16 years before Capital Group, from less than $100 million to when I left 16 years later, we just peaked over $1 billion. So that was a great experience of getting to know both how to work with people and then the management side of assets, and not only assets, but managing a team to service individuals and their assets. And probably the greatest compliment I received was when I was at the Community Foundation. Capital Group managed some of our endowment. We got to know each other really well. I had a lot of people from Capital Group who came over to the Community Foundation as donors, and they said, you do a great job of servicing individuals on the charitable side, but we know that you have greater potential to service people in their whole financial picture. So I made that move 7 years ago, and it was even though my career looks very disjointed, I feel it's been very natural and organic. It's some people say I'm obsessed with organizations that have strong cultures and are very disciplined. I'd say that it's more about service.